You know, education is a subject dear to us all. And today we'll be discussing education and other things on The Bernie Hayes Show with Bill Monroe. Brother Bill Monroe, how are you, sir?
Good morning.
It's been a long time since you've been here.
Yes, it is.
A couple of years almost. Yeah.
You had hair last time I saw you.
Yes. Most of us disappeared.
I'll give you
now.
some transplant.
I appreciate it. You're a former police officer, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a St. Louis police officer.
Yeah.
And I say St. Louis because of what's going on in our city today.
So why did you choose to become a police officer? I know you're a graduate of Soldan High School, right?
I graduated Soldan High School January '64, the last January class.
Yeah.
And went into and volunteered for the armed services.
Yeah, veteran.
Yes, and I spent 3 years in Europe. And when I volunteered, I was trying to escape Vietnam.
Okay.
That was my point.
Sure.
And I did okay.
That's great.
And when I came home, I've always felt there's no stronger calling than to serve the community. And the black community is my community, and they really need serving. Okay. And that was my idea, to protect and serve.
Okay. But here of late, we've been knowing you for an advocate for public education.
Yes.
And also for charter school, because you ran a charter school, right?
I was a founder of one of the first black charter schools in the city.
Right. Which one is that?
And that was Thurgood Marshall Academy Charter School. Right. And we occupied the Army Center at 4300 Goodfellow Building 101. Yes.
So how long did that last?
And let me clarify something, because even though that I embraced the charter school concept, I did so because I felt that black people should be in charge of the education of their children, because we've been so miseducated. Okay. And I saw an opportunity at that time with the charter school concept to open Thurgood Marshall. And the problem with the charter school management companies were that their goal is to negate the founder and take the money from the non-for-profit and have it as a cash cow for themselves.
Make it a profit for themselves.
Yes.
Sure.
And that was the problem, and the organization that was ultimately put out of St. Louis, Imagine Charter School Management Company, was put out for unscrupulous dealing. Yeah. And their only goal was to see me out of the school and take it and use it as a cash cow. I understand. And I fought them. Okay. Yes. It stayed open for 5 years, but ultimately the mayor at that time, he put them out eventually.
What mayor was that?
That was
Slay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Mayor Slay. Okay. Now you're on a mission to open up Harriet Tubman. Understand?
Well, that Bernie, I took a alley whooping with the charter school management company. Okay. And when I got off the ground and dusted myself off, what I found out that I had become educated in the business of education by dealing with the charter school management company. And in doing so, I felt stronger because I had some knowledge that I didn't have when I went into Thurgood Marshall. Okay, okay. So now, is Harriet Tubman on a path to opening soon, or what? Harriet Tubman has been my mission, Bernie, since about at least 2 decades. Okay. At least 20 years. And what I found out was the white backlash against black people having command of their own lives, and especially education. Okay. And currently, Harriet Tubman is on track, Brother Hayes, opening, and it's a unique opportunity. I've met at least 4 different occasions with the superintendent, Dr. Kevin Adams,
Yeah, sure.
of St. Louis Public Schools.
Right.
And the opportunity for Harriet Tubman exists strongly because of the closing of public schools, especially high schools.
Okay.
And we're on track to engage the Beaumont High School campus to open up Harriet Tubman Preparatory High School and Career Center on a corner of Natural Bridge and Vanderbilt in North St. Louis.
Sure.
A community, an area under crisis, Bernie. It makes my heart weep to drive that neighborhood and see the devastation that's there caused by lack of economic prosperity and no engagement in the community of cash.
Okay. Is Beaumont High School still open now?
Beaumont, the campus Beaumont currently exists with some small programs, and I think they're designed primarily trying to find a reason not to close it.
Okay.
But I'm giving them a reason
To keep it open.
to keep it open.
That's true. Okay.
And in engaging Beaumont, we're going to leave that name right there where it is. It's historic. But we're going to open up Harriet Tubman Preparatory, and with the focus on career and providing services for the homeless children, Bernie. I don't know how many people know that there are at least 5,000 or 6,000 every year homeless children in the street, high school age children. And we're going to prepare a place for our high school age children. And we're obligated to educate these children until they're 21 years of age. And I lament the ideas of the fact of what's going on right now with the current chief of police and our mayor engaged in the thought of bringing the National Guard and the federal authorities into North St. Louis to corral the young gangsters that they have identified as predatory.
Sure.
But the real solution is not military, it's not police, it's not jails, it's not more judges. The real solution is education, skills, and job training for our young people.
Okay. Why did you choose the name Harriet Tubman?
Harriet Tubman was a freedom fighter, and she was a woman, a strong black woman. And I could think of no greater a name for this than Harriet Tubman. And I kind of got angry at our government the other day when they wanted to deny her presence on the $20 bill.
Sure.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I saw you posted some things on Facebook regarding that too. We can't repeat them.
No, well,
there's nothing.
It's a family
negative.
show. It's a family show.
Yeah, but there was nothing illicit or negative that we couldn't talk about. But you expressed your anger.
Yes.
That they did not choose Harriet Tubman to be on
Yes.
to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20.
A slave owner.
Yes, sir. And
an abuser.
Perpetrator of the Trail of Tears. And,
Yes.
And a lot of Cherokee people don't even carry $20 bills because of Andrew Jackson's photo.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
I was told that there were many that wouldn't even that they wouldn't take $20 bills from bank money. They would avoid it
because of Andrew Jackson.
Yes. And that might happen with Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
And if they did so, if black people said we don't want $20 bills anymore, you're not refusing money.
Sure.
The government would change it.
Give you 2 10s.
Give me 2 10s.
4 5s.
Yeah.
Now, how can they reach you, Bill, in case somebody can more information?
I can be contacted by phone at 314-478-4441.
How about email? Do you have email?
And there's an email address that's posted on the screen, and I can be contacted directly through that.
That's Harriet
Tubman High School and Career Center at gmail.com.
Okay, it's Harriet Tubman
HSCS at gmail.com. Yes.
Okay, and then get more information about your efforts in
Yes,
Harriet
sir.
Tubman. I want to come back because I know you've been involved in local school board elections too. You've been very, very involved, and I'm very concerned about the local school.
I'm concerned for any number of reasons,
Okay,
Bernie.
well, let's come back and talk about it after this break.
Okay. All right.
Because I like to remind you that We're at the New Life Evangelistic Center. And Bill Monroe, you've been helping Reverend Larry Rice for so many, many years.
Man, I love him.
Yeah, I know you do.
I love him. And I hope you don't get in trouble with me posting the flag upside down.
That's all right.
But I don't know how many people understand what that means.
Oh, of course. Well, he wanted you to have this book.
Oh, wow.
And that's the history of New Life Evangelistic Center. And the fight still continues. It's
Yes.
like you're still fighting so
Yes.
many things. And he wants you to have this cross, too.
And I hope you prayed over it. I need some prayer,
It's
Bernie.
been prayer. It's been prayed over. Reverend Larry Rice has been here nearly 47 years,
Yes.
providing services for those in need, and he continues to do that. And here's a Bernie Hayes mug, and you just saw the book that I gave, Through the Fire, Reverend Larry Rice's book. And he would like for you to have one because you can support New Life Evangelistic Center and receive a mug and a book from Reverend Larry Rice. So here is Reverend Larry Rice.
For many years, Bernie Hayes has been on the front lines leading the charge for social justice. It's been a great privilege of mine to get to know Bernie personally, and I want us, in celebration of all that Bernie has done, to share with you one of these very special Bernie Hayes mugs and a copy of a book, Through the Fires, which tells you about the battle for social justice at 1411 Locust, where gentrifiers came into the neighborhood and literally shut down the church at the New Life Evangelistic Center at 1411 Locust Street because they didn't want those kind of people in the neighborhood. Direct bigotry. Now, if you'll request this mug and share a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you this book, 328 pages that go into great detail on all the manipulating behind the scenes and on the scenes that took place in order for the city of St. Louis to consider it a nuisance because there were hurting and homeless people in the neighborhood. We would love to see a beloved community that when development takes place in a community, instead of the poor and the elderly and the homeless being pushed out, it's a beloved community that welcomes people from all over, regardless of their racial background or who they might be. They're people made in the image of God. Bernie Hayes has fought for that for years. And now we're teaming up with Bernie in a very special and powerful way. If you'll just call in our 421-302, or you can send your special gift and just say, please send me the Bernie Hayes mug. We will include in that Through the Fire, historical book that I've written on how the St. Louis gentrifiers tried to destroy a church because of its homeless congregations. You know, there's a common saying that if your neighbor's house on fire, yours in danger also. The bigotry, the hypocrisy in the city of St. Louis affects all of us. I thank God for Bernie, who has continued to point it out and root it out. Now we're teaming up with Bernie. When you request the Bernie Hayes mug and share a gift of $25 or more to New Life Evangelistic Center, I'll include my book, Through the Fire. We'd love to hear from you. Share now, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri.
And welcome back. My guest is Brother Bill Monroe. Bill is the founder and CEO now of the Harriet Tubman. Is it preparatory school?
Preparatory.
Preparatory.
And the term preparatory is because ultimately we're seeking to find dormitory and housing for our homeless children. They don't have any place to go, Bernie.
Okay.
They're in the streets, Bernie.
Yeah.
And they're wreaking havoc and they're trying to survive, Bernie. And we're gonna right now, and this is important. The superintendent, and I think he's a good man.
Kevin Adams of
Dr.
Schools.
Kevin Adams.
Sure.
And I believe that he has the heart of the community about helping our children. And right now, on his desk or in his office, there's a 23-page document, which is a contract and an agreement, a business plan, a 23-page document awaiting his signature to complete the passage of the Beaumont campus to Harriet Tubman. And this will engage a collaborative agreement between us where we agree to come together to make something happen for our children.
Great.
And not only that, I've engaged the South County Tech. I was surprised, Bernie, how many people did not know about South County Tech School.
Is it part of the public school system?
No.
It's okay.
No, it's independent.
Independent, okay.
And South County Tech, where we can embrace all the skills, Bernie, all the skills that our children need. We see right now how many children that don't have jobs, they don't have many things, that a skill training, a career-oriented curriculum will assist them in having a good life. We're going to open up a public safety academy. I've talked to Brother Jimmy Edwards,
Okay.
and I hope he's still on board.
Sure.
I've talked to the chief of police, and I've talked to fire organizations, which is FIRE, that's the Black Firefighters Organization,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and ESOP, the Black Police Officers Association, and we're going to actually put together a public safety curriculum-based academy within Beaumont, within Harriet Tubman, where we're going to teach fire, police, and paramedics as part of the career studies.
It's wonderful.
And I'm real happy about that,
That's
Bernie.
great. That's
real
great.
happy about it.
Yeah. I notice also you've been advocating for certain people on the school board, and also I know that the public schools will soon revert to the elected board, and you've been very, very active in school matters in the city of St. Louis.
Yes.
With the active board, and you've been certainly vocal about the appointed board. So give us your voice on that.
I think that the elected board is being preparing themselves for stewardship and the return of the governors of the St. Louis Public Schools to the elected board, as it should be.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that the SAB, which is a special administrative board that's governed by 3 individuals, they're going to return the power back to the people, the people who elected those to run the organization, run the St. Louis Public Schools.
Sure. Were you ever a member of that board?
I was a member of the elected board for 4 years, Bernie.
Sure. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was on your program here.
Yeah.
This is a repeat for me.
Yeah.
I was on your program when I was running for office for the elected board, and I won a 4-year term.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy about it. But I was in constant conflict with the SAB because of my ideas as to how things should be.
Sure.
And we see things happening. We shouldn't be ruled by the people in Jefferson City who really don't know what's going on in our community and what we need to survive.
Mm-hmm. So what do you see as the future for the elected board after they take power? And what do you hope for?
I'm hopeful, Bernie, and I don't want to be. And I watched my good friend Dr. Joyce Roberts on your program recently, and the blessing for the elected board is for her to have been elected to that board because of her experience and her ideas, as well as another young man that I'm hopeful and excited about, Brother Lane. Brother Lane, and of course he is a charter school advocate.
Okay.
I am no longer a charter school advocate because the charter school system would want to take at least a cut 15% off the top of the monies coming in for the children. These are the children's money, Bernie.
Sure.
We must be respectful of the money that follows a child through the education process. And we don't have to give away 10% or 15% to a charter school management company that seeks to make profit off our children. And then we get into a classroom and they don't have the things that they need to be successful. And the idea of the collaboration with the St. Louis Public Schools is we'll be able to, under this agreement, we'll be able to not only put teachers in classrooms, but we'll be able to put teachers' aides. Every schoolroom, every class will have an aide to assist that teacher in educating our children.
And these will be certified teachers?
Certified.
Sure.
Certified. The aide doesn't have to be certified.
No, but the teachers does.
But they can be specialists in that specific in that specific
those areas.
Training, yes.
Yeah. Okay, Bill, from a Army veteran, was high school graduate from St. Louis, Missouri. Sodan High School, and to the Army.
Yes.
Back to the St. Louis Police Department. How did you get involved in education itself and
the story of Bill Monroe's transformation into education had to do all with problem solving. The problems that engage our community in this current crisis that we have. And Bernie, I went to the Million Man March. Okay?
I recall.
And in that march, I took a pledge in front of that crowd because we had slept that night in front of the stand where the minister would come out to address the crowd.
Sure.
And we had spent overnight there on blankets on the ground, so I wanted to be first. I wanted to be lined up first. But I made my decision right there to pledge the rest of my life in finding a solution for that which our community is engaged in. And that is education, skills, and job training for our children. And Harriet Tubman basically is a byproduct of the Million Man March. Okay. And the commitment that black men and women need to make to their community.
Is there? Are you taking applications already for Harriet Tubman?
Not as yet.
Okay.
There are many things waiting on the signature of the superintendent, as well as some banks. And you know as well as I know how difficult it is for a black man or a black woman to get financing to do any type of business. We live in a community where we don't own the service station. We own no financial services in our community, and we become just, what are we, just users or just consumers?
Yeah, consumers.
And it has to change.
Okay. So, but they can still get more information about Harriet Tubman. Once again, how can they reach you and get more information?
I can be reached at 314-478-4441.
Okay, that's a little fast. You say a little bit slower,
all right,
if you don't mind.
314-478-4441.
Okay.
And if you got something to say to me, you can call me at any time. And the email address is harriettubmanhcs@gmail.com.
Okay, that's Harriet Tubman, the word Harriet Tubman, HSCS@gmail.com.
And I want to remind the community that Harriet Tubman Incorporated, which is the non-for-profit that's sponsoring the school at Beaumont, is a 501c3 non-for-profit public benefit corporation. And we take donations. We take cash donations, and these donations are tax deductible.
Right.
And we need the help of our community to go forward. But also, like I said, I got a bank sitting there waiting to build. Where's the contract with the superintendent? Because they're going to finance me, and they're going to put money into this project so that we can have an institution on the corner of Natural Bridge and Vanderventer across from the embattled Fairgrounds Park.
Right.
And we're going to impact that community, Bernie.
My guest is Bill Monroe, who also mentioned his 501c3. But you know, we're here at the New Life Evangelistic Center, which is also a 501c3. And Reverend Larry Rice has been here 47 years. But they receive no federal funds. They receive no government funds. There are no city funds. The only funding that the New Life Evangelistic Center receives are gifts and donations and investments from you. The same programs that were run at 1411 Locust Street are now run here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. But the same needs are there. The same people are in need. We need water, we need food, we need donations of clothing. And you can help us through a cash donation or through your credit card through Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri 63166, or online at www.New Life Evangelistic Center. That's New Life Evangelistic Center, .org. American Express, Visa, American MasterCard, Discover Card. Takes less than 2 minutes, and it is an investment in a person's new life. We'll be back with Bill Monroe to talk about the homeless situation here in St. Louis after this.
An epidemic of homelessness is sweeping throughout the United States of America. In city after city, people are ending up on the streets. Now, instead of feeling overwhelmed, as believers, we can do three things. We can give, we can volunteer, and we can pray. We can pray for the homeless refugees that we're finding in one city after another, all over the United States. So many people ending up out on the streets, and the hearts of so many are growing cold at this particular time and indifferent to the need. Jesus said, as oft as you've done it to the least of these, he said, even so you've done it unto me. When's the last time you've prayed for the homeless refugees in the United States of America, appearing in city after city, not only in major cities, but even smaller cities? So many people ending up out on the streets, even in resort areas, places you never think you'd find homeless people. They're there. Jesus said, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but he, the Son of Man, had nowhere to lay his head. Please pray for the refugees. Please pray for the homeless people in America. And pray for those that are on the front lines, the first responders, reaching out through Jesus Christ among the homeless and hurting, whether it's in Springfield or St. Louis. Your prayers and gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center makes a big difference. This New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, is 63166.
We'll return to our guests after this Black History Moment. Today's subject is Mr. E.D. Nixon, an African civil rights leader and union organizer, remembered primarily for helping lead the Montgomery bus boycott in Alabama from 1955 to 1956. In 1928, he met A. Philip Randolph, the recently elected president of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. In 1945, Nixon was elected president of the Montgomery branch of the NAACP, and 2 years later, in 1947, he became the state president of the NAACP. It was the Montgomery bus boycott, however, that gave Nixon national fame. On December 1st, 1955, he posted bail for Rosa Parks after she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white passenger. That arrest initiated a series of events that led to a boycott. Nixon persuaded Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., a relative newcomer to the city, to become the MIA's first president. Edgar Daniel Nixon. He died February 25th, 1987 in Montgomery at the age of 87. E.D. Nixon.
Hello, I'm Larry Rice, and I'm inviting you to join me daily on the New Life Facebook page. Something new, something exciting every day. So go to facebook.com/newlifestl and discover what's happening on a daily basis as New Life Evangelistic Center begins to share with you a wide variety of subjects. I look forward to visiting you on the Facebook page. Remember, there's so much just waiting for you at that particular page.
And welcome back. My guest is Brother Bill Monroe, and we're talking about a wonderful adventure that he's taken on, the Harriet Tubman Preparatory School here in St. Louis, Missouri. Bill, you mentioned that one of the missions is to house and educate homeless children. Will there also be a shelter considered for the for the Harriet Tubman?
Bernie, my heart bleeds over the stories that I hear about what's happening to our children in the streets who are homeless. And if certainly we have a high homeless population with the adults, then our children are suffering.
Sure.
And this is a huge endeavor, and it's almost you have to take it in phases, Bernie. And when we open Harriet Tubman on the Beaumont campus, that the next phase we'll be going into as far as finding dormitory and housing for the children, the young adults who chose to attend Harriet Tubman at Beaumont.
Okay.
And I have several sites that I'm looking at, and everything depends upon money.
Sure.
Cash. And I would say this, and I would say this, and I'll say this directly to our mayor, And there's a question that I have. What is the color of money north of the Delmore Divide?
Okay.
Because we certainly know how difficult it is for black entrepreneurs to gain access to funds and resources to help their community. I no longer look to white people specifically just to come in and help us. Black people need to be proactively involved in their community because we know what we need better than anyone.
Sure. And because you're suffering.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Once again, before it's too late, we want to know how we can reach Brother Bill Monroe and why we should reach you.
You can reach Brother Bill Monroe on the phone every day at 314-478-4441. That's 478-4441. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning drinking a cup of good Starbucks coffee. Okay. That's no hit for Starbucks.
That's a plug, but that's all right.
And the email address is Harriet Tubman, H as in Harry, Sam, Charles, S, @gmail.com. Okay. That's the email address.
That's great. Bill, you've been on the forefront for a long, long time, and you've got so much support. And I just want to say thank you for being who you are and what you are and doing the things that you've done. We didn't even talk about your advocacy for police reform, but perhaps that's the next show. We'll do that
certainly,
again.
I certainly, and we're having some problems with our police department.
Yeah, no, and I also want to say thank you for all the support that you've given Reverend Larry Rice and his staff.
And it will continue.
Evangelistic Center.
And I see an opportunity to bridge with Reverend Larry Rice, because anytime you communicate about the homeless situation, Larry Rice, his name pops up in my head.
Thank you, Bill Monroe.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank all of you. Don't forget now, we're at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, 63114. And if you can bring by some food, some hygienic items, clothing, water, we certainly would appreciate it. We're at New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road, Overland, Missouri. I'm Bernie Hayes. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting the New Life Evangelistic Center.